All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to Greenbox Gaming plays Delta Green Impossible Landscapes, Chapter 2. Chapter 2, a volume of secret faces. My name is Joe, and I am going to be handling these guys. These, my incredible friends, my best friends in the whole wide world. Starting with,
Wow.
first of all, the most handsome,
What's
I think,
changed?
Brad playing
Something's
Hank
changed.
Ellis.
He's really taken that
That's
feedback to heart.
and
Yeah,
then
last
Thank you.
last
and then
episode was so lackluster. It's like,
and then
I
of
guess
course
I'm joined by Brad.
and the great thing is I'm also joined by probably one of the smartest people in the whole wide world, Dace, playing Benji.
I thought you were gonna say me again.
Nice.
Wow.
Damn.
Shucks. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for that compliment.
And then last but absolutely not least, probably the most generous, kind, and gentle lover,
Thank you.
Jean.
Oh,
This is a trap. This is too much.
This is what we get for Arby's talk. He's up to something.
He's definitely up to something.
even though I
Uh,
feel like I fit all three of those categories, I guess I'm still happy to be here, Joe.
Well, that's
Yeah.
you
Okay.
can't win them all, right?
Wait, do we need to say something? I feel like we have to say something now about Joe. Like Joe's just fantastic in all regards at running his
Yeah.
fiefdom.
At my
You're the best king I could ever ask for.
My
Best ruler.
My liege. I pledge
My
myself to
captain,
thee,
my captain, my captain.
my sword and shield.
Ellen didn't know what she started. with
She
this
sure
now.
as shit didn't. I expect an angry phone call in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Well,
My
as
liege.
my loyal subjects, I just feel like I'm responsible for you. That's because I'm really doing it for you. But oh, the mantle of leadership is so heavy.
We bend the knee.
Are we knights or are we like villagers? Are we like farming potatoes for you? Or like defending
Yeah.
your honor?
Serfs, I think, is what they were called.
Serfs, yeah. we're
Serfs.
Serfs, for
Yeah,
sure.
you guys are serfs. Yeah.
Gnarly.
But so
Far out,
so-
dude.
So, I have a question for you guys this week. It's more like actual Delta Green kind of related. I was thinking about this week. If you were contacted, you as a person, you Brad, you Jean, you Dace, were contacted as an individual by Delta Green, said, "Hey, here's the deal. We want you in." What would you bring as a character to Delta Green? Like, what skill set would be the most useful
Fucking
thing that you
an
had?
angle grinder. That's what the fuck I'd bring to Delta Green.
It's just the
That's an
ability,
answer.
Heavily in angle.
the ability to enter into anything, any
Yes.
locked container or building.
It's like a skeleton key for the real world.
A really loud skeleton key
Yeah.
that also throws sparks like 10 feet, which is kind of like lighting a road flare.
But hey, I mean, pros and cons. You can get in
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
We're
And
gonna have
getting
to
in
talk about
quietly.
their benefits and shit before I join.
What, like the HMO, like their insurance, or
Yeah.
like do they have dental?
Yeah, basically.
I want to see a contract before I start.
I don't really know if that's how they
This
work.
shadowy government organization. No, I would ask for the contract first.
All right. Well, what
I
about
don't
Brad? What would you bring to the table? What would be your best asset as a Delta Green agent? As Brad.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about that.
Nope.
I have no idea.
Brad would be a charisma-based character for sure. That would be
Yeah.
his highest stat.
Maybe that'd be easier. I was thinking like in
Mm.
real life, what would my job be? But if we're looking stats,
I mean, your job is charisma-based. Like, you're rolling charisma rolls all day.
Well, think about your skills. Like, what would all your points and your skills be in?
yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
They just don't have
Uh,
anything.
Let's see. Oh, no. artillery.
Are
Definitely.
you looking at your real life
Just
character
looking at
sheet right
his
now?
stats.
Is that
Computer science would be Brad and John.
Yeah, but
I like to
That
think
does-
I'd be
that
more
doesn't-
disguise.
Because
Dodge.
because you wear a false facade every day.
And also unnatural. You know, why not?
just
I'm sure I dabble.
a little bit?
Who
I've
knows?
got-
No.
I've got a little or not artillery, but firearms, and I've got a little heavy machinery.
I don't think we'd
Little-
be good agents, guys, in real life.
Little unarmed.
I don't think we got make the cut.
Psychotherapy. I've been to therapy. Does that count?
Hey, I have a
Yeah.
minor in history. Can I get some points in that?
Yeah.
I think Joe would. Joe, what would you bring? What would you bring as your skill set?
Joe would be the strongest
How's your
DG character
unarmed
for sure.
combat? Unarmed combat combined with psychotherapy.
Unarmed combat. Like, I did do jujitsu for a little while. Not
Well, I
long
mean,
enough to get
yeah.
good at it.
Not
but-
to mention your military career
and my
which-
military career.
would give you. I mean, that's firearms right there. That's
Demolition.
artillery. You're a tanker, so that's artillery, or
Yeah, heavy
heavy
weapons.
weapons.
So we got a weapons guy, a welder, and 2 charisma-based characters. I guess.
I don't know. Like,
I
you
know.
know,
I
like,
give John definitely deserves some tech points for
I'll
sure.
get some tech,
Yeah.
some tech points.
you know, the funny thing is, like, I was actually looking recently. Something I think that really sets Delta Green apart from other games is that, you know, and obviously I think we as a crew have the most experience with Dungeons and Dragons. Like, besides this, and like, you know, we also did Paranoia a little bit.
Hmm.
There's something else I tried to play once. I can't remember what it was, but you know, in those games, like, you're always basically a superhero. You know, like, you are, you know, like, you meet an NPC peasant and you're like basically a god, even at like level 1. You know, like, you are far and above anything they could ever imagine. But Delta Green's not really like that, and I actually think that kind of is a really good thing because, like, everyone has limitations. And yeah, you could roll just a really good roll on something you're trash at and get lucky. But it really kind of, like, your limitations actually really kind of build the story because they build how you attack things, you know, which I think is
Well, I
a
definitely
huge strength.
think
Yeah.
Delta Green gives you more opportunity to lean into like improv and character and story based games, like, you know. But if you love like combat and shit, that's where, you know, D&D
Yeah.
can go heavy into like a combat based game.
Well, I'd also
I was
say that
considering-
the mechanics of Delta Green encourage you to play outside your strengths because when you fail skills, you can improve in them. So it's like an incentive
Oh, yeah.
to do that.
Oh, did you guys do that last time, by the way? Mark your failed skills?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Have we had an opportunity to
To rest yet?
update
No.
them?
No. But yeah, like, I think I was on the Delta Green Reddit, and, you know, like, a conversation came up about a completely non-combat team, like a team that doesn't have, you know, a soldier or, you know, like a police officer or something on. That's just, you know, like, researchers and doctors and stuff like that. And I think my response to it was basically like, this sounds like an awesome team. Like, some people would say, oh,
It's
no,
a
it's
dream team.
unbalanced. But
No, we were
Who-
super strong in what was the series we did before this, like the intro to Delta Green arc?
yeah, the control group.
Nobody
We were
was
astronauts.
Yeah.
Well, when you guys were astronauts, you guys had some crazy skills because astronauts are
When
crazy
I was a
individuals.
space doctor, I thought he was pretty good.
Space doctor.
That was the best
What was his
class I
name?
ever
Got
played.
leg day.
What was that character's name?
Leg day.
Leg day.
God,
is
what
that
was
guy.
it? God, I don't
I think
remember.
It's got echoes of Hank in him. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's got the bravado of
That's
Hank
just
for
that's just
sure.
because I'm not a good actor.
And I'm sure I imagined him with big old jowls as well while he was speaking.
That was a different character.
Yeah, that was a different one. That was a Bobby
my God,
Blair.
now it's
That was
more
Dr. Bobby Blair.
Dr. Bobby Blair.
Who was basically the diabetes cat guy.
Yeah, right.
Slash oatmeal dude.
Yeah,
The man loved his oatmeal.
and loves his oatmeal. But yeah,
Yeah,
I,
they gave us it craft the gameplay really well. Not being able to be a superhero, not being able to do amazing things all the time.
yeah. I mean, like, and even you gotta think about it. Hank is really not a combat-focused character. I mean, does he have a higher unarmed or like a higher firearms than you guys? Yeah, but what he really brings to the table is the investigative stuff and his connections to the U.S. Marshals and bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Like that's really his strength. He's really not a combat character. He's not a special forces guy. You know, he's not. It's not a whatever.
I think we saw that with whatever her name was.
The
Never
file room
forget
lady.
Michelle.
Michelle.
Oh, Michelle. Yeah.
I think we
Yeah, you
established that we're not heavy combat based with
Yeah.
Michelle.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Mhm.
All right. We are here. 2015 in Boston in an insane asylum, or I guess, sorry, they're not called that, a psychiatric hospital called Dorchester House. You guys are following up on the assignment that you received from Agent Exeter, or Marbus, as he used a pseudonym as well, to look into the disappearance of 3 Delta Green agents who have gone missing while housed at this facility. You guys got there and managed to have a nice long talk with Dr. Dallin, who's the head of the facility. Richard Dallin. He's a Delta Green friendly and is aware that something weird is going on, but is primarily concerned for the missing patients. He lets you know that they went missing from their rooms. They were chemically and physically restrained. At the time, they disappeared kind of randomly, with no entrances or exits, no obvious breaches of any windows or doors, and that the orderlies noticed they were gone just a few days ago, just gone, out of nowhere. He's given you permission to tour the facility with his head nurse, Esther Samahina, and she has kind of put you guys in a old file overflow room. I think that you guys had kind of said that was going to be your base of operations kind of deal. So you guys had looked into the 2 names of 2 individuals that you actually knew of, 2 individuals that you actually encountered 20 years ago in the night floors. Ed Wist and also Timothy Bale. Guys looked into their files. You determined that Ed Wist violently murdered his entire family and has recently come into more money than God, apparently. His father being the head of some like huge multi-million-dollar conglomerate, and Ed now having access to these funds while still being, forced to be here by the state, being criminally insane. And the other one you ran into was Timothy Bale. You determined that he was he's an Iraq veteran. Keep in mind this is 2015, and that he served 2 tours and is very traumatized from his from seeing his entire squad been shot out from under him and whatnot. And they are both on the 3rd floor where the most acute patients are. So you guys are here in the room, and Esther, Nurse Samahina, is going to be back soon, and you kind of have this time to figure out what you're going to be doing.
We should probably look into those missing patients.
Yeah, I guess we'll do our job.
Do homework.
All right,
So what else-
I'm sorry.
What
go
else
ahead.
can we do in this room? We've already looked at Timothy and Ed.
Yeah, we still have to read the files of the 3 patients that are missing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The the first name you have on your list is T How. And that is Hou. It's on your board as well, up there in that top left corner. Let me transition over there. And you guys, when you open, well, someone give me a lot of this that you're looking at. This is getting a lot more into like what you can actually parse out or what you'd even know. So everyone give me a psychotherapy roll to kind of make sense, or a medicine roll, I guess, to kind of make sense of what all's going on here.
Interesting.
Psychotherapy fail 93 over 11.
And failure for Benji, 14 over 10. Damn, that's close.
So close.
Yeah. My shit sucks too. Fail.
Okay. Basically, none of you have over like a layperson's understanding of psychiatry, which is not surprising. None of you are psychiatrists. So, just kind of what it is. For T How, you see that that is the name that's abbreviated. There's no, or that apparently is the first name. It's just T. You see that there is listed that the primary diagnosis is dissociative personality disorder with fugues and catatonia. And you also see the word, catatonic schizophrenia written a few different times in some of the history. You see that there is a long list of medications, things like Thorazine and Haldol. Again, none of these particularly mean anything to you, but it looks like this individual was on a regular dosage of a mix of probably Haldol and Ativan. Again, two medications that don't really mean a lot to you because you don't really know what they are. But that's the notes in there. The reasons for this are cited to be several violent incursions where the individual would suddenly snap out of these catatonic fugues and just randomly attack people. And that they tend to happen at pretty inopportune times, such as while everyone's sitting down to eat and things like that.
Okay, so Hank doesn't really have much to say on that. I guess there's no background to him, like why, like he just got sent here, and that's the only thing on record is what they diagnosed him with / what he's been going through at the facility.
You see that that apparently this individual was brought here 3 years ago, which seems like a long time to be in a mental health facility. But yeah, and you see that it is, well, under the, what would it be? What is it called? I'm blanking right now. What is it called when someone else is responsible for your legal things, like to make decisions for you?
Guardian?
Yeah, like a guardian ad litem, like their legal guardian. That the legal guardian who is kind of like signs all the admissions papers is not an individual, but the name of an institution or a group called the Saint Dyphna Foundation. That is DYMPHNA. Saint Dyphna. So yeah.
Can we make... Does Benedict make sense of the etymology of Dyphna?
Ooh.
He's I don't know if you know this. He's a journalist.
He's a journalist, that's right.
Very comfortable around paper, that one. I've heard.
Very comfortable around papers and words, from what I gather.
And even sentences.
Yeah, even the combination of words, typically known as sentences. Make me a, I don't know. What do you think you should roll? I would say probably an intelligence or a. Do you have any languages or anything interesting? Like,
I don't know. Either from all his reading, he's got his journalism, but otherwise intelligence. I think intelligence makes sense.
I think intelligence is wide enough.
Success 25 under 70.
Nice.
Just, like as you're thinking, does actually here's an interesting question. Does Benedict have any experience with the Catholic Church?
Oh, that's a good point.
What do you think? What do you think Benedict's religious upbringing is?
He was at St. Ali's College for Boys, and he was a bit of a bully in Oxfordshire.
Oh, that's
and
right.
yeah, that's absolutely going to be a religious upbringing.
Saint Diphaena is the patron saint of the mentally ill.
Okay.
You know that right off the bat. That comes to you, and as you think about it, like as you guys have probably entered this facility, there have probably been depictions of Saint Diphaena like in some of the art and stuff like that. I also don't know if I'm saying that right.
Seems
Good enough.
Diphaena? Sure. So yeah.
Cool.
And that's some kind of a trust or some kind of institution.
Yeah, it does not appear. It is like I said. It's the Saint Diphaena Foundation is like kind of stamped on all of the paperwork where the legal guardian of an individual would be signed typically. So,
can Benji do a quick Google search? Just type in Saint Diphaena organization.
I would say yes. You can do a quick one. When you do so, you find very, very little. All you can really find just right off the back is the mentioning that this facility was purchased by that you find like one tiny news article that says that the Dorchester House School was purchased in 1986 by with like a loan or in some relationship to the Saint Diphaena Foundation.
Okay.
And then 3 years later, it reopened as the Dorchester Psychiatric Hospital. So it seems like they may have bankrolled the purchase of this facility. Was there a roll that just happened? Did someone roll something?
No.
Nope.
Okay, I might be losing it. Cool. Great.
Next
Do you
dude.
need a break from Delta Green?
All right. I think I'm ready to go on to the next guy. If y'all don't have any more questions about T.
I think that's
Good.
definitely a lead we need to look into later, but yeah.
Yeah,
nothing
Diphaena.
more.
All right. The second one is Cal Diasia. Cal Diasia, you see one of the first things you notice is a very similar kind of regular regiment of these medications that don't particularly mean a whole lot to you. But it seems that this individual is receiving regular infusions, let's say, every few hours.
Jesus.
You see orders for lots of orders for physical restraints. You see that one of the big things that's mentioned here are you see one of the big things is pica.
Oh.
And and as a layperson, so Dace, you're a layperson, and you had a reaction to pica. What is pica?
Isn't it like cannibalism related?
No,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily.
What am I thinking of?
Cannibalism.
Yeah.
You're just thinking of cannibalism.
No, there's a particular disease that I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking
vampirism.
about.
Vampire.
Vampirism.
That's the one. Vampirism.
Yeah.
You see,
Lycanthropy.
You see that this individual apparently eats things that are not food very often, including their own feces, napkins, bits of the wall that they're able to remove, and that they've been like almost had to be completely restrained the vast majority of their time here to keep them from eating things that will kill them. And they seem there's also some mentions of, you see again, some schizophrenia and things like that, or schizophreniform is one of the things you see. These things don't particularly mean something vast to you. This individual has been here for about 9 months.
What's the background? Same organization admitted him here?
Funnily enough, same thing. There was the legal guardian is the Saint Difna Foundation.
So
Okay. I was
Basically,
thinking of Kuru, which is the disease caused by cannibalism, which sounds nothing like Pica.
Oh yeah, Kuru is basically mad cow for people.
Yeah.
It's Crutchfield Jacobs, Crutchfield Jacobs.
Got some wires crossed there in the old noggin. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily like they could be eating flesh. Okay. So the program
How long has Karl been there? Karl?
9 months.
and it was in his room that the blood message was
Yes.
written about Abigail.
Correct.
Okay. What about Mr. Mack?
The last one we have is Lila Mack. Lila Mack is therefore, again, schizophrenia. You see that Lila Mack does have a longer history associated with it that goes beyond her admission. It seems that there's some vague information there. She suffered from delusional disorder and other things like that, and persecution, or hallucinations of persecution, that there was a government conspiracy that was attempting to kidnap her and kill her. One of the big problems with her, again, lots of Haldol, lots of Ativan, and is that she tries to hurt herself, that she's a danger to herself and others almost constantly, and that it has been supposed that when she seems to get better, it's only so that it is a calculated and purposeful effort for her to get trust from staff so that she can then get access to things for which to hurt herself with. And so that she has been restrained for her own safety for the last year.
Jesus Christ, man. Delta Green really fucked these people up, huh?
Damnedest thing.
And
Wonder if
the
that's something we would think
Guardian-
about while we're reading the stuff. Like, this is a potential glimpse into our future.
It could be.
It is a bit of a a peek into the looking glass to see what maybe is down the road. I mean, you guys are a bit frazzled already. And by the way, let's keep in mind, I think I mentioned it last time, or one of the last times, that Benji actually does have a bit of a catatonic thing when he loses sanity from the unnatural, which we forgot to do last season. That's my fault. That when Benji loses sanity, the unnatural influences, he already has a mental disorder. He has a catatonic fugue disorder.
Yeah, we should definitely start doing that because that could really screw some things up.
Yeah,
in the right circumstances.
yeah, that could really fuck you guys up big time.
Yeah. That'd be so fun to role play a catatonic state. Just
Not
nothing.
for everybody else.
Yeah.
We did do that. I think in one of the Delta Greens, you just became totally useless.
What? Say what you mean, John.
I have
You're
said it.
always useless.
And I take it the Guardian for this last person was also the Saint Difna.
Oh yeah.
Well, this puts some things in perspective that I mean, these people could be, I don't know. I was about to say, like, I mean, they're in danger wherever they are. They obviously can't, at this point, live on their own without some kind of supervision.
And particularly Lila, like if she's actively trying to harm herself.
Well, boys, this is some rough stuff. I don't rightly know the medications bit of it, but I can tell these people are severely ill.
Yeah, that's pretty evident. Or either somebody wants them to look like they are.
It doesn't take it's not much of a leap for you guys to pull out your smartphone and to Google these medications. Haldol is an antipsychotic that is kind of used as a chemical restraint or sedative sometimes, and Ativan is almost universally used specifically as a sedative. It seems like these people are being doped up much of their day, definitely in the evenings.
Well, this is about what we expected. They, were admitted here, obviously by the program for a reason. I don't know if we're going to find much into their disappearance. It seems everything beyond this, their admittance into this facility has been blacklisted or is not listed here.
I want to see that video footage, and I want to see the room where this mural is. Do some investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually, the Esther Semihina comes back, and she comes fetches you, after an hour or so. It's kind of what you told her. She comes back and tells you that she is ready to take you on a tour of the facility and ask you. She says, we can go right up. We can go right up to the patient rooms. If you want to go see, the room of these 3 patients, if you want, we can go straight there. I can also show you around some of the other locations, the nurses' stations, and and the cafeteria and things like that. It's wherever you want to go. Dr. Dallin said to give you all the access we can.
Well, you can show us around a little bit, but the main priority is the video and the actual rooms where these individuals went missing. But if you want to briefly take us through the rest of the facility, that's fine by me.
Okay. You go. She takes you briefly down to the cafeteria. She shows you where the people from the second and the first floor eat. She tells you that the patients on the 3rd floor have their meals taken up to them because it's too dangerous to move them between floors. The old cafeteria is in the old gymnasium, right next to the administrative room. In each of the floors is a small secure nurses station that has a key card lock and a heavy door and a small window where there's like just enough room for like the big med station and like a computer and a chair for a nurse to sit in and dispense medications. She then takes you, as you go up, you see that there are some people wandering around the first room. She's taking you through the patient areas. There are some people kind of wandering around the floors on the first floor. And though these patients, them to be patients, they seem like they have a lot of, they seem to have a good bit of freedom. You see some people talking on their cell phones and kind of wearing like normal street clothes. With like many of them have like a badge attached to them that kind of like shows their name tag and stuff. But these are these to be the lowest acuity. She tells you that on the floors, because there's different levels of security, that patients are allowed to have different things. Down here on the first floor, patients are allowed to have their own phones and can watch as much TV and have as much free time as they basically want. That they're patients who are transitioning out of the facility. The second floor is where patients spend probably most of their time. It's when they're not as acute as they need to be on third floor, but they're not really ready to leave yet. And that obviously the third floor is the most acute, where there's the most limitations. There on the third floor, there is no street clothing. All of the patients are in hospital gowns. They are not allowed to have shoelaces or belts or things like that. And they definitely have no internet access or phone access or anything like that while they're up there. Everything's very controlled and extremely regimented on the third floor. Yeah, she takes you up there and shows you one of the rooms.
All right. Whose room is it?
Well, I think somebody had said that you specifically wanted to see the room where the thing was on the wall?
Yeah, Cal Dias's room.
Okay. She takes you, they get to the third floor, and you see that all the patients up here, first of all, there's an immediate mood shift. There's twice as many orderlies, and right in the middle of the unit is a big, thick glass kind of security room thing that can kind of see 360 degrees, see down both the long hallways where the patient rooms are and whatnot. There's several orderlies in there. There's more orderlies kind of about. And that there are several patients, kind of, some of them appear to just kind of be, standing, and wavering on their feet. Looks like maybe they might be a bit doped up to their gills. And there are some others that kind of, regard you, or maybe talking to some of the orderlies or playing checkers or something like that. As you get up to one of the rooms, she takes you to the room of Caldacia. And opens it up, and she says, well, just so you know, the room here has not been touched. We did remove the poetry. It was
Why
on
the
wall.
hell would you do that?
It was, and she kind of, she shows you the door, and the door has like a glass window in it. Like a thick glass window that can't be easily broken. Just, well, other patients come by and see something like that.
Hang up a dang sheet.
You guys put a just piece of paper up there.
I love that.
You've messed with the crime scene potentially.
Well, she touched. She's like, "Well, I'm sorry. I mean, we needed to clean it up. I felt that that's what we needed to do, and so we did. I'm sorry if that's
No, that's okay.
hampered your investigation. I don't know if you need." She's like, "I kept the rags, and I didn't know if you'd need DNA. I didn't know if that was going to be a thing. I kept the rags, but I did take it off the wall."
Oh, God. Was that
would
blood?
be most.
Oh yeah. I'm
blood?
sorry. Was that Miss?
Oh.
Yeah, that was blood. My bad.
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No,
Oh, this is
Benedict
Benedict.
was
Okay.
missing the point. Yeah. So, that's hideous. I'm glad you
Gross.
cleaned that off. That's horrible.
Disgusting.
Yeah, Benedict, that wasn't jelly from a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but that was very helpful. We will need some DNA from those rags. So that's good. We can tell if it was actually their blood, or if we find some weird,
Whose
I don't
blood?
know, some weird parasites from the future in it.
Future parasites. Oh man.
That was fun.
That goes back to control group, yeah.
But all right, Hank's obviously gonna do a investigation or
Yeah,
a forensics.
Okay. Tell me what you get.
Critical 11
Nice.
under
Critical.
35.
All right. As you're
You
looking
need a
through,
DNA analyzer.
yeah, as you whip out your handy dandy pocket DNA analyzer, as you're looking through the room, I mean, this is what Hank does. We'd kind of talked about before that Hank has been he's been out of the field for a while, but he, once you get him in there, it's like riding a bike. He gets right back to it. Hank, you're looking around. It is a small room. There's no bathroom attached to each individual room. There's like a communal bathroom like out in the hallway, and as you understand that the individuals here were kept under lock and key and sedated a good bit of time, so they probably were just cleaned by nurses, and that kind of thing. You get looking around the room is sparse. I mean, really sparse. But hanging all over the walls are several, like, shreds of newspaper. They don't seem to be pulled apart in any particular way, and they're all taped to the wall, not tacked, because they wouldn't let the patients have tacks. The thing that really draws your attention as you're looking into this is you go over to the bed where the restraints, and Nurse Saminga, she tells you, she says, "Oh yes, we didn't touch those. Those were exactly as we found them. It was as if they just disappeared right out of there. I just don't know what could have caused this." As you're looking at these, you pick up the restraints, and it's a 5-point restraint system. Both wrist, both ankles, and waist is how the people are restrained. And you're looking at there's like some sheets there. It looks like someone was laying on top of the sheets, like restrained down. And as you're looking at them, you pick up the wrist straps, and they're closed, like clamped, as if someone was wearing them, and they were like closed shut. And you're looking at them, and something that you notice is as you pick them up, they kind of smell a little bit, and you kind of like give it a little sniff. And it's not a bad smell. It's not BO. It smells like they are sterile and fresh out of the package. They seem to be brand new. And looking at these things, like, you would feel like you would expect to see some stains of sweat or something on these restraints. You don't see anything.
Something fishy going on. This might not be supernatural, but a cover-up of sorts.
Yeah, you're trying to hide something.
There's not. The rest of the room is so sparse. There's like some. It looks like some art projects maybe on the wall. Like hanging there, like some paintings or something.
Benji rolls art to judge the worth of this art.
Okay.
They got a fumble.
It's important.
77 over 55.
They are worth $20 million.
Fellas, I got a lucrative business plan.
As a nurse, like Sam Hinga looks away, like Benji quickly just snatches one of them off the wall and pulls
Absolutely. Sticks it in his pack or his briefcase.
It's like stick figures of Cal, and then there's like a little stick figure of Cthulhu next to him.
You don't understand, Hank. It's priceless. It belongs in a museum.
This belongs in a museum.
So Hank makes some kind of like eye gesture towards Benedict and what's your character's name, Days?
Benji.
Benji, sorry. Benedict and Benji, but does not like express with the nurse there that these look new or anything like that.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to do a search or something more specific?
I'm just looking at my skills, and I don't really think there's anything I can do. Like, if once you make it known to us that there's a potential cover-up, maybe we could try to convince Esther.
Someone hasn't looked. We haven't studied the newspapers yet.
I forgot about the newspapers.
As you're looking at the newspapers, they seem to be first of all, they're newspapers that are anywhere from a week or so to a year old. It's probably just the kind of stuff they have around. Some of it seems to be stained with paper mache goop. Maybe this was just stuff that they were doing art projects with. Give me some type of check to to like see if you can find anything of note about them.
Benji will roll a search. Critical. 22 under 43.
What is going
Wow.
on with you
I
guys?
don't know.
Amazing.
Critical, a fumble, a critical.
All right. As you're looking at these and you're looking at them all up here on the wall, and you're trying to like, what could this all mean? Like, it's like this one like looks to be part of an ad, and this one's like, part of an editorial, and you're looking at them. They seem random. They seem really random. They seem like they were put up here with no purpose. Like
Oh shit.
set dressing.
They have super tampered with this room. They have completely tampered with this. Someone has.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, are we
Yeah,
chasing another set of
So now
agents?
Benji and now Benji and Hank are both like side eyeing each other, and they're trying to side eye Benedict, but he just will not get it.
Not receptive to the side eye.
Looking up.
Benedict,
Is it-
Benedict, do
Add
a roll.
something on
Maybe
it?
we can get even more insight. I don't.
Yeah,
know what
roll
else-
your alertness to see if you pick up on the side eye, please.
Can you crit on that alertness to pick up on the side eye?
Absolute failure. Not crit fail.
As
All right,
you guys
will
keep
you-
like side eyeing, but when you do, Benedict just looks where you're looking, and he's like, I don't see it.
Benji's like,
All right.
Hmm.
Here's what I want to. All right, I want to do another roll.
Okay.
We've been looking around for a minute. This is Estes.
Esther.
Esther, Miss Esther, were you present when this room was found? Were you on shift that night? Did you have a hand?
No, I worked during the as head nurse. I worked during the day. I was not.
You did
present.
not see the incident, what was left of the incident at all.
No. I think Michael is one of the orderlies. I think he was here. I think he's here now. He's in the security room right now.
I just did a hum int on her with an 18 success.
Okay. You're not picking up anything. She seems to be being forward that she was not here.
Did you say Michael's in the security room right now?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
She looks out the door. Yeah, Michael Devon. He's one of our orderlies. He was I think he was on a swing shift, and I think
Why
he
would
was
he
there.
be in the security room?
Is that a different Michael?
What? Which Michael are you
Who-
talking about?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait. Oh, sorry. Never mind. Ignore that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think let's do a quick look at the other two rooms, and maybe later we'll have a private discussion with Michael since he was on the scene.
well, at this point, Benedict is going to try and side-eye Hank.
Roll an
And then
alertness.
actually-
Yeah, roll that
Just gonna-
alertness. That's otherwise
He's
you're not
actually
gonna
just
be
going
able
to
to pick it up.
shuffle up next to him and be like, I don't want to lose track of that footage. I don't want anybody else on that footage. We should go there.
It's probably already been tampered with, but you don't at least want to do a quick search roll of the other two rooms before we go over there.
No, we can come back.
All
He
right.
says in not so hushed tones.
All right, plan. I guess we'll head to the. If Benji doesn't have anything else to say, we'll head to the security.
Well, before we leave the room, Dr. Dallin said that the security cameras covered the hallways, not the rooms. Is that right?
Correct.
Right.
Benji wants to just scan the room for like where a camera could have been on the off chance that they tried to cover that up too.
Okay. Yeah.
So probably a dead end, but another search. And that'll be a failure 48 over 43. Great.
Okay.
Just great.
Just fantastic.
Great. Let's
I
go.
mean, you did do you did land a crit that just blatantly told us that someone covered this up.
This is true. This is true.
So yeah. So are you guys? You don't see any you don't see there's any record or any indication that there was ever a camera in here, as far as you can tell. So what is you guys' next priority then?
See that
The other
footage?
rooms you said?
Well, Benedict wants to go straight to the security camera / Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are looking. You guys go in, and Esther, Nurse Saminga, she introduces you to Michael Devon. Do I have my picture of Michael Devon here? I do.
Joe, while you're on the board, could you bring
Yeah.
all the notes that are in the top left down a bunch? We don't have control over the black box, so I don't want to move that stuff.
Oh. Okay. Yes.
Just so that everybody watching can also see some of our madness. Yeah, excellent.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Good catch. Thank you.
So
all right.
called Michael with his little perfect goatee.
So called Michael.
Where is
We'll
he?
buy it for a second.
Ah.
So yeah, you see Michael Devon. He is sitting there in front of he's kind of leaning back. He's like in his like late 30s. Bit of a little bit overweight guy, and he's wearing the orderly scrubs and has his with his badge tucked in his pocket. And yeah, and he's like hi. He's like hi, Michael. You you guys looking into what happened the other night?
That's correct.
He goes, yeah, it's pretty nuts. And you see that he's sitting in front of a 2-seat kind of security station. It's got 16 different screens of cameras all throughout the facility. Most of which are here on the 3rd floor, and then there's some on each floor below, and then just of the grounds kind of around the facility. You see controls for the fire suppression system and for all the doors and everything here.
Michael, are you the security guy?
Oh, well, I mean, the orderlies, we kind of the orderlies up here on the 3rd floor, we kind of double as security and, as security and orderlies, we assist the nurses, with, medication, and we run rounds, but, we also kind of man, this station, just kind of keep an eye on what's going on. I was on swing shift on the 28th. I work swing shift typically. And I was on shift.
I'd love to hear about that. But first, could you work this thingamajig and bring up the footage of that camera? And then we will chat all about where you were when the people disappeared.
Yeah. I'll hold on one sec. And
Classic bedside manner. Just cold and icy.
He seems like he seems very very cooperative, and Nurse Samahinga is there, kind of standing there, just kind of listening to everything that's going on, and he's like okay, all right, let's bring it back. He's like, so we keep recordings for 4 weeks, and as he's pulling everything up, he's like on a computer, and he's digging through files, and first in first out system, so that the oldest stuff gets deleted so that we can make room for the new stuff. Here we go, and he clicks a button, and up on the big central screen is a camera shot of the hallway where the 3 rooms are located on one of the wings of the 3rd floor. He's like, so I don't know, what do you want to see? I can just fast forward through it all, or
Can you take us to about 7:30, and we'll just scrub through that?
Yeah, sure. Here, take the mouse. And he just gets up and lets you sit in the chair. And you can just scrub through the video footage. It does not take long for you to realize that as you are scrubbing through it, and you see every probably every 15 minutes, you see a orderly walk down the hallway with a clipboard and kind of peek into each room, as they go. And this is probably them doing rounds and keeping an eye on everybody. It doesn't take long for you to see a period where the orderly goes down and you see the orderly is exiting the bottom frame, like the bottom of the frame, right? And then the frame seems to freeze. And it seems to stay that way till about 9 o'clock.
They had tampered with the footage, those sons of bitches.
And as you're looking at it, he goes, "Hang on," and he's looking at it. He's like, and he kind of like reaches over you and is like, he's like clicking. He's like trying to scrub back and forth. He's like, "Huh," and he seems pretty flabbergasted.
What do you see there, son?
I don't know. You can't even. God. And he looks at the other cameras, and it looks like all the cameras in the facility, he pulls up other ones, and around this time are also all frozen. It looks like all the video just froze.
Is he sitting down in the chair now?
He's like leaning over you, like you're sitting in the chair, we're like using the mouse, and now he's like leaning over you.
You'd say that his shirt pocket is pretty close to me.
Oh, Jesus.
Wouldn't you? And you'd say that he's certainly pretty distracted right now. Wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I guess I would.
Plus 40 would definitely work here.
Well, plus 40 would suit me. Suit me right.
Yeah, it makes sense. You've put forward a good argument.
I waited for the perfect moment.
He bided his time.
Yeah,
it is a pretty good moment. So he
I
has
will say this once and only once. If he suddenly loses his badge and you guys are the only odd ones in the room, they're probably gonna finger you for it.
Well,
but you do what you want to do.
They have bigger concerns on their hands at this point than a missing badge,
I
especially come from this
so.
guy. We got tampered evidence we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And we suspect Michael.
I mean, hell, if they tamper with the scene, they tamper with the footage. I think
they tampered with the Michael.
I mean, yeah, who knows? Definitely, someone could have took his badge.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
You do what you want to do. You tell me what you do. I'm here to simulate the world. So, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Okay.
The thing is, we're metagaming a little bit. Maybe I should
keep in mind. Also, Nurse Samainga is right behind you.
You really don't want this to happen, do you?
I don't care what you do. I think that's reasonable. I mean, she's literally like, you could argue she was distracted too.
His fat ass is blocking her view. He's like right over my shoulder.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got everything going my way. I don't understand.
What's Benji's sleight of hand skill like?
Where is sleight of hand?
Or what would that be even?
Yeah, it's not called that.
It's not called that in this game, is it?
Dexterity?
I don't know if dexterity can be used for that. But I don't know if there's anything better to use.
It's either stealth or dex, I mean.
Probably stealth, really.
Okay, then this might be a terrible idea. Do I actually get any pluses for it, for the circumstantial thing?
I would normally say, God, I'm trying to like, I don't want you to think I don't want you to do something, but it's like I'm trying to think of like, this is a hard thing to do. Benji is not a professional pickpocket, right?
No, hell no.
And I think that you could have like a plus 20 But then, like, I really think that would be just removed by just the sheer difficulty of what you're doing, because it's attached to a lanyard, or like, you know
You
those.
have to pull it off his head, like around his
Well,
head.
you know those little clips that have the string that like retracts.
Yeah.
It's attached to
it's
one
a
of
clip.
those.
It's a clip. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you meant
Okay.
it was like
They were
wrapped around his
made
head.
to avoid the patients getting
Yeah,
the
they're literally
It will be
built
difficult.
to stop you. Like, as someone who worked in a psychiatric facility, like, you're specifically put these on your body in a way to keep people from snatching them.
I take your
Oh, but I
point.
think Benji would try it though. This has been on his mind for a while.
He is a little nuts.
How bad could it be?
He's more unhinged than he's ever been, and I really want to do this as a player, but is it like stepping over the line?
Just do it. Just do it.
Fuck it.
Let's do it and get it over with.
So I don't get any bonuses. Plus 20.
I would say no. I would say no bonuses. I'd say that the fact that you are not a pickpocket, not a professional at doing this, but you have distracted him sufficiently, gives you a flat stealth check.
I do have extremely dexterous hands. I am a master at guitar.
Do you
No.
have? That's actually a very good point. Do you have a knife on you, perchance?
Of course.
No.
She always has a knife that they absolutely didn't
You
confiscate
gave
when we
up all
came
your
into-
weapons.
All right, this is happening, and it's
Right.
going to be a failure. But if it succeeds, it'll be phenomenal. So let's go. Stealth.
Alright,
Got to
tell
roll
me what
under a
happens.
10.
Under a 10?
Fumble.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh, that's bad. A fumble.
All right. You reach up, and as you do so, you think you brush against his very sensitive nipple,
Oh, God.
on through his through
Oh no.
the pocket of his scrubs, and you just, as you're looking up, you're reaching in, and you look up, and his eyes are locked with yours.
Can I bum a smoke?
This is your one chance. This is your one chance to unfuck this. Roll me a persuade.
Good call.
This is it.
All right.
Well,
This is why we play. Persuade. Oh, please, God.
God damn it. You completely
That's
fucked this up. You completely fucked this up.
Oh, this is
of a
so
double
good. I could
fumble.
not have made this a better situation. Oh my god. All right.
Fuck.
He just like he reels back. He like slaps your hand away. And he's like what the hell do you think you're doing?
Just
He's like,
wanted to smoke, buddy.
He's like, yeah, I don't think so. And he looks to Nurse Samiga. He's like, is this shit for real? And she's like, gentlemen, I don't know what you think you're doing. You've already been given unlimited access to the facility. But you know, I think it might be time for us to go ahead and finish this up and get you guys out of here. We have a lot of work to do. Michael's very busy.
You god damn, you fucked this
You
up.
have to excuse my friend there, nurse. This is he's under a lot of pressure. I don't know.
Oh, Benji,
he does need a cigarette.
He's under a lot of pressure. He's under a lot of pressure. We lost 3 patients, okay? And poor Michael
Understand.
over here is now worried because the files are corrupted or whatever.
Hold on, let's all calm down. We hear you out. Let's step outside, fellas. We'd like to talk to Mr. Richards, Dr. Richard again. Could you show us to his office and we wait there for him?
Yeah, I think this is probably something you should take up with Dr. Dallin. Yeah, you're probably the one to deal with you at this point. And
enough.
she hustles you down. Right as you guys hit the stairwell. Actually, let me roll a d6 here to see who's it gonna be. Who is it gonna be? We do 1, 2 is gonna be Hank. 3, 4 is gonna be Benji, and
It better not be
5,
Hank.
6.
This is some bullshit.
and 5, 6 is gonna be Benedict.
Let's rewind the record 5 minutes prior when Brad's like, just fucking do it.
Just do it, man. So we got a 1,
You
so
had
that is
2
Hank.
fumbles in a row. God, fuck this shit. What's about to happen?
All right, so Hank, you guys are walking, and right as you guys are Nurse Saminga, she swipes the card, opens the door, and kind of ushering you guys into the stairwell, and the door's gonna lock behind you. You're the last one, and you look over your shoulder, and as you do, you see a man standing there. He is standing in a white patient's scrubs. He's got his arms crossed, and he's got a bunch of and he has like real big on one of his arms. He has a Marine Corps emblem and has other tattoos all down his arm. And you recognize this man to be Thomas Bale, as he's looking at you as you guys are walking by, and he's looking at you, and he's got his head sideways, and he's kind of got like his tongue in his cheek, like he's looking at you and thinking. As Nurse Saminga is ushering you into the stairwell and closes the door behind you.
Okay.
Oh, by the way,
Sandy check.
No sandy check for you.
Okay, I thought that's.
Do you want one? Do you want one
No.
real quick? That's we'll throw one in there.
I want to give one to Benji.
So also, real quick, Bale is spelled Bael.
Okay.
So just to get that correct.
Okay.
Cool.
You guys make it back down to Dr. Dallin's office. When you do, he's sitting at his desk with a phone to his ear. He holds up a finger, real quick. He's like, yes, I understand. And, right, we will see them when they get here. Thank you. And he hangs up the phone. He's like, yes, and he sees the look on the head nurse's face. He's like, is everything okay?
Esther, if you don't mind, we'd like to speak to Dr. Richard privately.
She crosses her arms and looks at Dr. Dallin and says, they tried to take Michael's key card. I told them that we were going to be going everywhere. And sir, I want to work with them to help find what happened here, but it's kind of hard when they can't keep their hands to themselves.
Ma'am, you do realize that we are FBI agents, do you not?
She sighs. I just want to know what happened to these people, okay? But we have to keep the rest of the ones that we have here safe too. And she just kind of turns on her heels and leaves.
No, well, I want to lock them in here. I want to say there's something that is going on that I think the two of you need to know.
Her in there?
I just want to say there's something we need to discuss privately with both of you. And
okay, Dr. Dallin will say, he'll say, Esther, sit down. It's
now,
all right.
I know what Agent Micha did might have seemed a little rash, but there has been recent developments in this case. I want to do. I want to do
already.
Yes, sir. I want to do a human int on Dr. Richardson real quick before I go into. All right, guys. I'm going to try to earn back their trust by just telling. Well, we already know Esther is unaware of any tampering because she seemed to be very honest when we were looking around. We don't know if Richard's in on this yet. So I just did a successful human int to see if I can glean any kind of guilty response or non-guilty response out of what I'm, the preface I made.
And to be clear, this is not a metagame moment. But to be clear, you kind of humanted her on the idea of was she here that night? That's what you humanted.
Yes. And she claimed she was not there. I guess that doesn't technically mean she didn't tamper with anything, but I'm assuming any tampering happened as soon as the incident, whatever this is, happened, you know, to keep it under wraps.
Okay. So what are you gonna say, Dr. Dallin?
Well, I did it. What's the human? What do I gather anything? I just did a successful human on.
What are you saying to him? Like I don't know.
It is very vague. I'll give you that. But basically, there's been some recent developments that I think might explain Benji's brashness.
Okay, he's like, I mean, do tell. Do you know what happened to these people? Or...
All right, I don't get anything from him. All right, sir, ma'am, Benji meant no harm by this, but judging by the room, the security footage, the papers that have been hung on his door, have any of you were these papers there before the incident? Did you even notice this? Have you noticed the restraints and how clean they were?
I don't understand what you mean. I mean, we don't reuse restraints. You know, it's an infection control risk to use restraints.
Well, we were assured that this was not tampered with, sir. There was no reason to sanitize restraints that were no longer being used. What I'm trying to say, Doctor, is we believe someone in this facility tampered with evidence.
One of our staff is what you're saying.
I'm saying someone.
Gentlemen, this is Esther, do you have any inkling? Anything? I need to know, Esther. And he seems to be speaking very, very plainly to her. She's like, No, of course not. I just well, sir, also the footage has been corrupted. And he just puts his face in his hands. And he says, Esther, could you please give us a moment? She gets up and she gives you guys a worried look. She goes and closes the door behind her. He's like, gentlemen, I don't know how or why this is happening to this place, to our people. What makes you think there's a cover-up?
Well, I think unless either of you guys have any other angle you want to play, just deliberately say what we saw, you know?
Yeah, Richard, it's very clear. We've got bad footage. We've got a rag of DNA, and the evidence was washed off the wall instead of just closing up the window, it was washed off the wall, and the restraints are far too clean. God, man, it's obvious.
And the papers might have been a prop on a movie set.
And it feels like I'm not gonna point any fingers here, sir. But I question your integrity, man.
I'm not gonna point any fingers.
I'm not going to point any fingers here, but let me get my pointy little fingers out. He like leans back his chair. He says, listen, I reached out to my contact for fear that something was going on here, and I just the idea that I would report to your superiors if I had it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous,
Richard,
gentlemen.
Were you asked to do anything when you reported this? We know that you're friendly with people we're friendly with. Did they ask you to do in here?
They told me to wait for your contact. Told me.
Do you see anybody else? Did anybody else
No.
come through?
No, I communicated with Agent Exeter and was told to wait for support from your team.
I've already done a human on him.
Yeah, I could
Benji will roll
probably-
one.
Cool. Please, no more fumbles.
Yeah.
What if I fumbled again?
Let's see how many.
Success. 28 under 72.
Something about it. You can't put your finger on it. It's not like he's rehearsed it. It's not like that. But there's something about his mannerisms, something about the way he's talking to you that you don't think he's lying per se, but something is off, and it's raising the hairs on the back of Benji's neck. You think that if he knows something, you don't think he's trying to hide something from you. It doesn't seem like he's trying to do that, but there is something about this guy that is weird and is kind of unsettling you in a way that you cannot explain.
Richard, do you mind if I look through your bookshelf, Lee?
I mean, sure, you can take a look.
Esther, can we have the room, please?
Here.
Esther's already gone.
Oh, she's
Okay.
out.
Richard, how did you get introduced into our organization? Was there something you saw? Is there something that happened to you?
No, no, I mean, it was, God, what was that, 30 years ago now. It's, I was completing a fellowship, a psychiatric fellowship. I had, written a few papers, and, I was really kind of focused on, these, a lot of the PTSD research that came out of the Vietnam era. And it seems like a lifetime ago now, but anyway, I had a lot of really interesting research, but I also had, some administrative ability, and I had been offered a position at a Boston General Psychiatric Unit, and I was approached by some individuals who told me that they worked for this foundation, and they wanted to know if I was interested in having my own psychiatric facility where I could, focus on some more cutting edge stuff. I wasn't very happy with how things were being done and the procedures and the protocols that we had. And I jumped at the opportunity. I mean, they offered to foot the entire bill. I just had to, and they told me they had the perfect facility, already selected and here in Boston. And it's just, they handled everything. They just wanted to know that they had my support for their people. At first, I thought they were the CIA or something like that. It's the Cold War, you understand, so everything was about the CIA back then. But it became clear this is something different than that. I don't know exactly what, but I know the work that you do is important, and that's
Richard, is this the Saint Diffner Foundation that you're talking about?
Yes. God, I haven't heard that name for a while. It seems I see it in some paperwork every now and then, but yeah.
So all that human gave me is that there's something off about him. Off in what way? You said something about him makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Can I possibly roll?
As you watch him talk, as you watch him move, he seems like maybe a little twitchy, or maybe a little like shaky, maybe not shaky, but he seems like he doesn't seem well.
It's the
He doesn't
same,
seem normal.
the same shit.
Can I
with-
roll? Can I roll an
I'm just saying-
occult
Go, sorry.
or an unnatural to see if he's like tainted in some way? Like if so, he's not lying, but maybe he's doing this against his will because of some entity.
Roll me whatever you want.
Well, you know what I want to roll.
I know what you want to roll.
Occult it is.
Benedict is looking
Success.
for something in the bookshelf.
69.
69, brother.
Nice.
69, nice. You know what this reminds you of? You know what this reminds Benji of?
What's that?
Benji just can't help. Cannot help. Think about old Roger Caroon. And
I knew it.
how Roger was convinced he didn't know anything. But there was something about him the whole time. Things didn't add up. And you guys have been here in this place and things are not adding up.
While
Alright.
Benedict is looking through the books, he's kind of like paging through. He's obviously looking for the King in Yellow. But he just offhanded says, Richard, have you read any good plays recently?
No, I read a lot of professional. I don't do a lot of fun reading, I guess. I've never been.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I go to the theater sometimes, but I don't like I don't read plays.
Richard, what we're getting at here is we've been very frank with you. We've been honest. We have said exactly what we have found here in the short period of time. What we're hoping is that we understand that Benji might have acted out of turn, but it was all in the best of intentions to find out what happened to these patients as soon as possible so that they are brought back to the facility and taken care of. What we're going to need from you is for you to give us another chance. We need to look around this facility some more, and more specifically, possibly tonight.
I mean, we can't really have people here overnight. It's just, the patients are sleeping and we don't have a lot of staff.
Richard,
If
you
you-
know how important this work is.
I do, but if you think that my staff are doing something. You said that the footage was damaged?
That's correct.
That whole system. It's only a year or two old. Michael, he was the one he's a bit of a tech guy on the side. He's the one who really got it all up for us. I hate to say this, but if there's anyone here, as far as I know, who knows how to alter those kind of things, it's probably him. And maybe he's worth looking into. I don't know. I don't know.
Can I
You
roll
don't-
persuade for the being able to have access to this? Can I say? Do we have his?
Yeah, we need
oh,
access at night.
I want
We
to
gotta
have
have a
access to this
sleepover.
at night, and then also have we gained his approval to wipe the slate clean from the sleight of hand and still have access to look around?
Give me something.
All right,
What's
I'm
sleight
going
of hand? I just wanted a bum of smoke.
I know bum of smoke.
All right, I guess I'll do a persuade on what I said, and I will use my bonus 40.
You can use your juice?
I'm gonna use my juice on the persuade.
Juice.
Oh fuck! Did I have juice?
Is it on your
So-
character sheet?
No.
Joe,
Then no.
my persuade. So, can you just give it to me because my persuade is 70, and I'm gonna add 40 to it.
It's nuts.
What if you roll 100?
Wow.
Success.
All right. He's like, listen, I'm not against you guys, 100% you guys looking around here at night. I mean, or talking to the staff maybe who are here. I get it. But if I know that you're not beholden to me, all right? I get it. But if you can figure out who this is, I mean, I can give you their addresses. I have the personnel files. If one of my people is involved in this, I need to know. I know you have a job to do. But is there anyone else that you think might be a part of this cover-up?
Well, you mentioned Michael. He's number one suspect, but there's still our interest in Ed and Timothy.
That's right.
We also need to figure out all the staff that were working the night of the disappearance. Everyone's suspect at this point. This is going to be a whole investigation, Richard. You understand that?
I can get you those names, and you can investigate them or do whatever it is that you do, I guess. God. And he seems really, really upset. This idea that his people have been involved.
Well, I guess from that we can infer there's no way that we could possibly get his approval to be here at night.
Yep.
There's always the option of breaking in, but I think we got a shit ton out of him.
I'd want to ask him.
Okay.
Richard, what are your responsibilities? What do you need to do in the next few days? We now understand each other a lot better from before. Would you be able to work with us on this? Could you clear your schedule to come with us and figure this out together?
I'm still an
stay at
administrator
night?
of a hospital. I still have work to do.
But what exactly do you do, Richard?
Would
you call yourself an artist?
Or did I? What?
What is going on here?
Is a
You're
blast
not
from the past.
It's like,
What? He's going a little bit. He's a bit.
Are you looking for a new assistant? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Can you not just palm this off? Surely this is important. If the news gets out that this facility lost 3 people, Richard, this doesn't look good for you.
I
and
don't
it
think
doesn't
you
look good for
understand.
us.
I am not only the administrator. I'm also the primary presiding physician. So I do check in on patients. I do regulate and modify their medication orders. And I mean, this is your wheelhouse. Mine is taking care of these people.
All right.
But that is probably
I guess that's fair enough.
That's probably a good place for us to go ahead and stop,
Yeah.
though. So I believe there's at least one of us who has to get off to a wedding, which
possibly his
is
own.
possibly his own wedding. So
Yet to be seen. It'll be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise. Surprise wedding is
Surprise
the best
wedding.
kind.
Best kind of party.
But yeah, I mean,
How
you
it
guys
works.
are guys are kind of getting right down to the nitty gritty on this shit.
I don't trust this motherfucker. It has to be said.
well, he's
Well,
obviously.
he's-
as soon as it goes night, man, it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah,
who knows
yeah,
what the hell's
100%.
happening.
Let us around at night.
We don't even need to fucking. I mean, maybe it would be worthwhile interviewing the people, but we just got to go there at night and get into these
would-
new night floors.
Yeah, and break in, call up Exeter, even though I don't trust him any more than I trust Richardson. Or Richard, my
I think
bad.
we could make progress if we talk to Ed.
Oh, yeah.
We got to go over Richard's head. We have to find a
Yeah.
way to.
Ed, we just need you to.
boy.
What if we do
Just
it Joker
you're
style
in the
and we
corner.
get committed in order to explore the?
Oh my
Yeah.
Ed, we just need you to sign right here and give us all of your savings.
Just real quick. Take just a second. All right, guys. Well, everyone who's listening, everyone who's watching, man, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us as these guys try to figure out what the hell's going on, who they can and cannot trust. It seems like that list is getting shorter and shorter. Every time they meet someone, it's like, oh, can't trust you anymore. Or at least as far as they're concerned. Come check us out over our kind of headquarters is over at Reddit at r/greenboxgaming. You'll see all our episodes there and kind of the announcements and stuff like that. Also, if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear it a week earlier, or you would like to support us and help us to get some better assets, get some little bit better equipment and whatnot, if that's interesting to you, please consider checking out our Patreon page. We're at Greenbox Gaming, or patreon.com/greenboxgaming_. It's just $3 a month, and you can kind of help us, kind of continue to do this and get our hands on some little bit better equipment, a little bit better stuff, a little bit better art assets and whatnot, so that we can continue to make something good. Maybe at some point, we'll actually get a damn editor and someone who can professionally mix this. But we want to continue.
Anybody knows any good editors?
Yeah, seriously.
Let us know.
But yeah, and come over to the Reddit. Let us know who's listening. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me today.
Thanks for handling my balls.
Wow, that took a weird twist. I do believe you mean my liege.
That's right, my liege.
It is French for king. Mon balls.
Sorry for any of our French-speaking people out there. But yeah, join us next time. We're going to continue to figure out what the hell's going on here at the Dorchester house. And as these guys are getting a little bit more suspicious of what's going on. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me today. And we will catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye.